Shopyflow offers the most advanced data integration between Shopify and Webflow. It transfers all your product and variant information to Webflow, along with the Shopify product organization taxonomies. This allows us to build our site with up-to-date Shopify data right in the Webflow designer. In the end of this tutorial, we are going to have 6 automatically created collections in my Webflow CMS. A collection for products that stores the main product information. We use this collection to build the product pages and product listing modules. Another collection is for the product options. This is a collection of every single variant option that is assigned to a product in Shopify. The product option items store the data that is required for building variant option selectors and configuring the elements. The other 4 collections store the Shopify product organization taxonomies. These are collections, vendors, tags, and product types. These collections are automatically referenced to the product items as they are set in Shopify. Taxonomy collections are used for creating filter menus and static archive pages for each term conveniently. Now let's create this setup in just a few simple steps. Log into your Shopyflow dashboard. I am going to use the Sync tutorial store for this tutorial. Go to the Syncs tab. Click Add New Sync. In the first step, we select the Shopify store and click Continue. Second step is connecting to my Webflow project. Click Connect to a new Webflow account. In the opening window, we are going to authorize Shopyflow to make changes on our Webflow project. I am going to select the project called Sync Tutorial and click Authorize App button. We have already connected to our Webflow site. Now let's close the window and refresh our Webflow projects list. I select the Sync Tutorial from the list. The Sync Tutorial project is a brand new Webflow site with no collections or content in it. This is where our collections are going to be created. Now let's click to continue. In the third step, we create the 6 collections that are needed for storing our Shopify product information. It's important that in this step we follow the given order to create the collections. We start with the product options, and then the collection for the products. We repeat the same steps for each taxonomies. And we are done. Now let's take a look at our Webflow project and see if everything went right. We need to refresh the page. And here are our collections in the Webflow CMS. Before transferring our products, we have to manually create the required multi-reference fields in the product collection. First, let's create 3 multi-reference fields that are connected to product options collections. Click Add Field button. Select the multi-reference in the list. Name the first field Product Option 1 Values. Set the Product Options collection as the source. And save the field. Let's do the same for the Product Option 2 Values field. Select multi-reference as the type, and name the field Product Option 2 Values. Finally, set the product options as the source. We repeat the process for the last time, and name the field Product Option 3 Values. These 3 fields are going to store the variant options that are assigned to the product item. Each field will correspond to one of the available variant option groups set in Shopify. Next, we create another multi-reference field called Product Collections. This time set the source as collections from the list, and save the field. Now let's create the last multi-reference field we need for the tags. Name the field Product Tags, and connect it to the tags collection. We can save the field. Next, we create a field for the product type, and this time, we select a reference field instead of a multi-reference. We name the field Product Type, and source it from the Product Types collection. And lastly, we create another reference field for the vendor collection. We name it Product Vendor, and connect it to Vendors collection. It's done. We can save the collection. Close this model and publish the site. Once the site is published, come back to Shopyflow dashboard and click the test button to validate your CMS setup. Everything looks good. We are ready to transfer our Shopify data to Webflow. Click Continue and move to the next step. At the Match Field step, we can see and adjust how our Shopify data is mapped to the Webflow CMS for each collection. In the Product section, you can see all the product information that is synced to the Products collection. Our manually created product option fields and taxonomy fields are also staged to be populated. Let's take a look at the Product Options section. First, we have our option name that also includes the parent product name. This will help us easily making sure that this option called Army Green belongs to this product. The displayed name field stores the raw term that is used for displaying the name and using in the designer as an attribute value. We also have fields that store the option group name and the parent product. The next field is option color. It gets its value directly from the Shopify color meta field. You can edit the hex code of the color or use an image that will be stored in the option image field directly in Shopify. You can enable the color meta field for your product by selecting a category in the product settings page. Let's continue. In the collections section, we have the collection ID, collection name, collection description, and a collection image is transferred for each collection entry. This information can be set directly in Shopify collection settings. Product types, tags, and vendors are synced with no additional information. If you create additional fields in these Webflow collections, they will be ignored in the sync process and will not be edited by Shopyflow. There are no errors in my fields. Let's sync our products. Click the Sync All Products button and wait for some minutes to see the items created in the Webflow CMS. In the meantime, let's go to the Webflow project and see if my collections are being populated. Refresh the page. And my collection items are coming through. If there are several hundreds of items to be transferred, it will take up to 10 minutes to complete. Next step is going to be enabling the auto sync by using the Shopify webhooks. In your Shopify admin, open the settings. And then on the sidebar, find the notifications section. At the very bottom of the list, click the webhooks. In the opening screen, we're going to create 3 webhooks for listening the changes happening in the product items. Another 3 for listening the changes in Shopify collections. Click Create New Webhook button. In the opening model for the event, select the product creation. I leave the format as JSON. To find the URL we're going to use, let's go back to Shopyflow dashboard. In the Auto Sync section, locate the webhook URL and copy it to the clipboard. This is the URL we're going to use for all the webhooks we set up. For the API version, select the latest version from the list and click the Save button. Now we'll repeat the same process for the other 2 product webhooks. Create a new webhook, select the product update event. Paste the webhook URL. And select the latest version. Let's now do the same for product deletion event. Create the webhook, select product deletion event. Paste the URL. Set the version to latest and save. We create the same webhooks for the collection events. First, for the collection creation event. I use the same webhook URL and select the latest version and hit the Save button. The second will be for the collection update event. I use the same webhook URL and select the latest version, then save it. And our latest webhook will be for the collection deletion event. Paste the webhook URL. Select the latest version and hit the save. The last step will be copying this long key from the bottom of the page and heading over to Shopyflow dashboard again. In the Auto Sync section, find the secret key input and paste the copied key here. This will secure the communication between our Webflow site and the Shopify webhooks. Now let's test our webhooks. Let's head back to Shopify webhooks section. Click the three dots icon right next to each item and send a test. Now I go back to the auto sync screen and confirm that all the tests are passed. And yes, all our webhooks are working perfectly. This is all we had to do to create a real-time data sync between Shopify and Webflow. If you have further questions about the process, please do not hesitate to join our Discord channel and ask help from the support team and the community.